Welcome, everyone, to the first meeting of our new year. Glad to have you here. We will be, Jennifer, I had said hello to you. Happy New Year. Good to see you. We'll start off with item number 2, presentation of a proclamation recognizing the week of January 18th through February 2nd as the Health for Humanity Yogathon. And if Amit could come forward, I'll meet you down here. Welcome. Glad to have you here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the proclamation, and then Amit's going to tell us a little bit more. And let me get my glasses in. I also do yoga for my running, and it's helped me a lot of ways, but it hadn't helped the eyes a bit. Whereas yoga is an ancient Hindu practice developed thousands of years ago in the Indian subcontinent for maintaining spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, whereas
Surya Namaskar.
Thank you, or sun salutation is traditional yoga practice combining a sequence of posture and breathing exercises. Whereas HHS is a non-profitable organization with over 233 plus branches in 169 cities in 32 states, including 16 branches in the state of North Carolina, through which it conducts its Hindu values education program and community service activities such as food drives, providing hot meals to shelters and other services activities in several cities. Whereas HSS is organizing an annual Health for Humanity Yogathon with the goal of having 1,000 individual participants, I'm counting a bunch here, to practice the Surya Namaskar, thank you, to promote the spiritual, mental, and physical well-being of all members of the community. Whereas yoga enthusiasts, yoga studios, local schools, and other community organizations are participating in the HSS Health for Humanity Yogathon. Now, therefore, I, William C. Dush, along with City Council, City of Concord, do hereby proclaim January 18th through February 2nd, 2025 as Health for Humanity Yogathon. And would like to recognize HSS for organizing its annual Health for Humanity Yogathon to promote spiritual, mental, and physical well-being for all members of the community and encourage the citizens to participate in the health awareness activity. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you're going to be a part of this?
So basically, as a part of this Yogathon, we do multiple activities. We have a local chapter. We meet for Concord and Harrisburg. We have a chapter. We meet every Sunday at Presbyterian Church on Highway 49, and there we, teach kids and everybody who joins this yoga. Surya Namaskar is like a 10-step body exercise which relaxes all your body parts, and it helps with getting stable sound mind and increased memory and things like that. And we do promote this in schools also. So we go to school as a volunteer and practice this with the kids. So kids during their PE can try these, and then they can take home and they can practice with their families this. And as you mentioned, we do other things apart from this yoga thing. So one more thing, thanks Mayor Dutch, so you provided us a contact, and we are organizing one more event at Hardshell, like a community yoga event. The dates are still finalized. I think it's on 26th of January during this Yogathon. So city has given us a premises to conduct this, so we'll be publishing more detail as things get finalized. And apart from this yoga, what else we do is we try to teach our kids based on our values how to be a good citizen, and be a productive human being in this society. So one of the way to give back to society is our annual food drive, Seva Diwali. So for Harrisburg Concord chapter, we did 2,500 pounds of food we donated to Harrisburg Food Pantry. And overall in US, this year we collected around more than 750,000 pounds of food across 33 states and donated to different churches, food banks, local food pantries. So giving back to community in different ways.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you very much, and let's have a round of applause. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to item 4, presentation Distinguished Budget Award for the PAFR Award for the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Leslie and her budget team are here this evening, so if they would come forth to receive these awards.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing? Good to see you. So I'm going to go ahead and read this for the record, and then I'm going to ask you again to talk a little bit about these 2 awards that we're getting. The Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, has awarded Concord with the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for fiscal year 2025 budget. The national award is the highest award in government budgeting and recognizes organizations that produce exemplary budgets serving as policy documents, financial plans, operational guides, and communication devices. The city's achievement is particularly notable as only a small percentage of North Carolina municipalities have earned the distinction. In addition to the overall award, the fiscal year 2025 budget received special recognition in 3 categories: performance measures, strategic goals and strategies, and capital program. This exceptional accomplishment signifies that all 3 reviewers unanimously awarded the highest possible score in each category. This year's award marks the 23rd consecutive year receiving this recognition. The Government Financial Officers Association of the United States and Canada, the GFOA, has awarded the city with the award of Outstanding Achievement in Popular Finance Reporting for the City of Concord for the fiscal year 2023 Popular Annual Financial Report. This also has a code of a PAFR. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. This is the 4th year the city has received this award, and receiving this award is a reflection of the hard work of the budget department and their dedication to providing transparent financial reporting. With this award, the city is a Triple Crown winner for the 4th year in a row, meaning the city received the Achievement Awards for our annual compensation financial report, annual operating budget document, and the PAFR. So, congratulations. Yes. And can you help me with these? They're really heavy.
Oh, that's fun. Pass them.
And this is Distinguished Budget Presentation. Very good.
All right, thank you.
And could you tell us some more about?
Okay, it's heavy, I don't want to do that. So I'm just so excited every year to come and talk about the GFOA Budget Award. The budget is the city's policy document where we formalize all of our financial plan for the year and how we're going to operationalize council's goals. This year, it was a particularly special one because we got capital recognition for CIP, for our performance measures, and for strategic plan, goals, and strategies. And so the budget wouldn't be possible to put together without the help of everyone in the room. It's really just one giant team project. So thank you everyone here for your help, and we just really appreciate being able to present this document to our citizens.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, we have, moving on to public hearings. Item 1, conduct a public hearing pursuant of NC General Statute 158.7.1 to consider granting a 3-year, 50% tax-based economic development grant to Custom Ingredients Incorporated, doing business as Custom Flavors, located at 7955 and 7975 West Winds Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So items number 1 under public hearing and the second public hearing are both incentive requests to the city council. And so Sam from Cabarrus EDC is here this evening to present both these items to council.
Welcome and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Good afternoon, mayors, members of the council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Colquitt, Ms. Deason. Thank you for the opportunity to present this project this afternoon. Project Wildcat is Custom Ingredients Incorporated, doing business as Custom Flavors. Proposed project location is 7955 West Winds Boulevard, Concord, 28027. Custom Flavors is a family-owned and operated flavor developer and manufacturer headquartered in California. Custom Flavors partners with individuals and businesses of all sizes to provide exceptional flavors in both the liquid and powdered flavoring space. Their portfolio includes more than 20,000 flavors and flavor combinations. Custom Flavors' new Concord location will provide convenient access to the NC Food Innovation Lab in Kannapolis, where the company can continue to collaborate with local brands, grow their local brand footprint, and work on new product testing. In the first 3 years of their operation, they plan to create 42 new full-time jobs with average wages well above our current county average wage. The jobs will include the hiring of food scientists, production operators, quality control engineers, managers, and senior leaders. The projected investment is estimated to be $7,750,000 in real and personal property during the first 3 years. The City of Concord grant analysis is based on that estimated $7.75 million projected investment. The company is asking for your consideration of a 3-year, 50% economic development grant. The estimated grant for that 3-year term is $34,078, and net revenue to the city during that grant term is also $34,000. Happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Any questions from council? Thank you very much. Moving on to second item.
Yes, this is HSREI LLC. Proposed location, project location is 4295 Defender Way, Concord, 28027. Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick is proposing to develop a 260,000 square foot advanced manufacturing center on 27 acres adjacent to the Hendrick Motorsports campus. The building design will attract a premier advanced manufacturing tenant. The new building will have a common look, fit, and finish as the other buildings on the campus. The projected investment is estimated to be $35 million in real and personal property. City of Concord grant analysis based on that estimated $35 million projected investment. HSREI Incorporated is asking for your consideration of a 1-year, 85% economic development grant. The estimated grant for that 1-year term is $124,950, and net revenue to the city is $22,000. And there will be a Hendrick representative here Thursday evening if council has any questions.
All right, thank you. Any question from council? All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 3, conduct a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance amending Article 5.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this item under public hearing number 3 is closely related to item number 1 under your presentations of petitions and requests. The first item is a public hearing due to the nature of the changes to the development ordinance itself. And then Kevin will go through both of these and talk about the reason for these being 2 separate agenda items. So Kevin, if you would.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Golchinsky, Ms. Deason. As Mr. Payne mentioned, these 2 items are intertwined, so we've tried to make them simple. We've put them together under one presentation, but they are 2 separate agenda items. They are statutorily mandated changes to our ordinance based on a bill that was passed last year, and they're all about public utilities, water and sewer. And so at the end of the presentation, what I'll do is we'll ask you to consider the CDO amendments. Since this is a public hearing, city code changes again are the next item on the agenda under petitions and requests. So bear with me for a moment. A lot of this background was for the Planning Commission. You know you know all this probably better than any council in the state when it comes to utilities, but almost all development in the city utilizes public water and sewer. There are some, as opposed to private well and septic systems. And we actually do, under the code, mandate connection to public systems when the development is close to those lines, 200 feet. So last year, the legislature passed House Bill 628, and it's been codified as 168 317, and it requires exceptions to that connection mandate. And they passed the legislation as a result of capacity constraints in jurisdictions such as ours. And again, these are things that we are mandated to address in our development ordinance. So what the legislation does is it sets forth exceptions again to that connection mandate and allows the use of private sewer systems based on two things. One is a lack of capacity, and the other is cost. If the development of a private system is less expensive than connecting to a public sewer, if there's a long public sewer extension required, it's cheaper to do a private system. The developer would be able to pursue that private system. And the legislation would also allow the city to permit private systems without meeting that capacity or cost criteria. But I'll get to that in a second. You could have just said, well, anybody can do a private system, period. So back when this legislation came through, we started talking to Water Resources and legal and engineering. And we looked at the legislation, and we worked through Mr. Payne and through you to see how this legislation would be affected in terms of your quarterly sewer allocation procedures. So back in the work session in October, we brought this to you for some feedback. You also received a presentation from a developer of on-site private systems relative to how those mechanics work, what they look like, how much they cost. So you would know what a private sewer system would look like. So your feedback at that session was to require all sewer applicants, as covered by the policy, if they meet the gallon per day criteria, to apply for allocation. So the way we have structured the code and the code and the CDO changes, if you decide not to award sewer for a project that's gone through allocation, we would deem that no capacity would be available and they could apply for that private system. We talked about that at the October meeting, and that seems to meet muster from a legal standpoint. Alternatively, if there's no physical capacity at the plant, we're completely out, the applicant could go ahead and pursue that private system. Those two things are pretty simple. Applicants seeking a private system would be required to come to a pre-application meeting with the Development Review Committee. That's the city staff. All of the reviewers specifically includes engineering, water resources. So that way, if there's a developer somewhere that decides, hey, I want to do a private system, but I'm not going to tell the city. This would preclude them from doing that. That way, someone wouldn't go through hundreds of thousands of dollars designing a system, and we wouldn't know about it. So there's another part of the statutes that we've addressed that requires that we have to allow private water systems if we cannot provide adequate water pressure. And there's a citation in the code and in the statutes that refers back to another part of the statutes that has the engineering analysis that has to be provided to the city. And so all of these items there are addressed in the amendment to the city code, Article 62, which is the next agenda item. But that agenda item drives this one, which are the CDO amendments, which require the public hearing. So Article 8 requires that private sewage treatment facilities, which would be a package plant or any of those large on-site facilities that a subdivision may use, that they would be a special use permit. So we are proposing to take that out of being a special use permit, allow those by right. Of course, they would come through DRC. We would go through all the engineering steps, et cetera, et cetera. And additionally, Article 5, which is the part of the CDO that talks about what you have to have on preliminary and final plats in terms of easement widths and streets and building yards and setbacks. We are putting in there that you have to show your private systems on those plats, which everyone would do, but we have to put that in there because it's required. So this is the code amendment part, which shows how it looks. We took out that word commercial because it talks about any residential or commercial establishment connecting to sewer. So what it really meant was non-residential. So they added the term Non-residential, and we have gone back and we have referred directly to the statutes that talks about the exemption from the requirement if there's inadequate capacity or if the cost exceeds connecting to the public sewer as authorized in Article 11, Chapter 130A. And so we've added to the bottom that the applicant has to go through they have to follow our policy on sewer allocation as it's applicable. And if you do not allocate sewer to the project, the applicant may pursue the private system. We per your suggestion and Valerie's suggestion, we didn't use the term deny, we said you do not allocate. So it would be a non-allocation. So, we also put the provision in there that a DRC meeting is required if anyone wants to pursue a private system. And basically, we've added the provision that if we can't provide adequate water pressure, an applicant may pursue a well per the statutes, the new section of the statutes. So this is the statement of reasonableness and consistency that the Planning Commission adopted. They adopted the first two bullets. They found that the proposal is reasonable. And we do have the alternate section there. And so your next steps would be to consider the amendments to the CDO Thursday night, approve that statement of consistency, the first two bullets or the first bullet and the third bullet, and approve or deny those text amendments to the CDO, and then under the next agenda item, consider the text amendments to the city code. So does all of that make sense? And fortunately, Jeff's here. Jeff did the hard work and explained all of this to you back at the work session in October. Yes, sir.
Just a question. We say any residential building or non-residential. What's left that's not that?
Nothing.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because, yeah, that was my point, because it said commercial.
Yeah.
So that would essentially exempt industrial or institutional or anything like that. So I think the intent of the original, when that code was written way back in the dark ages, it was meant to include everything.
So it's really about any building in the city?
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm clear now.
Yes, sir.
Questions? Yes.
Kevin, I have a question, and I don't really know how to package this. So like, help me, you may have to help me go through this. So what I wrote down was, so if something is by right, so like a neighborhood is by right now, we still have standards, okay? Are there any standards that will be on these package plant systems from a standpoint of, well, period, like that's the only question. Does that make sense? Because I'm just thinking from that standpoint of like, was there thought given to putting these package plants in, allowing them, but there's a lot of things that come with that. So, and if there are standards with that, where do those standards come from? Does that question even make sense at all, Jeff? Maybe that's not a Jeff question, maybe it's a Kevin question.
I think it's maybe both. I think
I know it.
typically in a land use, you have buffering requirements between disparate uses like an industrial and, I mean, so there probably would be buffering requirements between the home and the plant. And so I think there would be that standard, but in terms of any appearance standard of what the plant would look like, no.
Yeah, and I think that the permitting process would handle, I mean, these facilities will be functionally built the same way a public system would be built, I mean, to the same standards. And I think those changes of use would require some creative development techniques to make sure they're in the right place and screened appropriately.
Does a current public system, so a WASAC, right, or a Rocky River Treatment Plant, the standards that come with that if you're going to build those in an area, do those same standards apply?
Yeah, let me jump in.
Am I not,
Didn't we
help me.
DEQ will still manage the permitting of the plants.
I'm not talking about
Or does-
permitting, though. I'm talking about like the standards from a perspective of this being built in my backyard.
what it
So
looks like.
more of a,
Building appearance.
yeah, like you were talking about buffers and things like that.
That's a good question. We may have to do some more research, and here's why. So the Wasack plant, yes, they would have screening. But if you think about it, a pump station doesn't have screening, doesn't require screening. So since it's a utility, I don't know. Because then could it be viewed like Wasack? Or would it be similar to like a little pump station that just pumps the sewer? I don't know. So that's a good question.
Well, Stephen, I think when the bill was passed in Raleigh, there was no specifications placed in it. It was just simply, this is allowed moving forward. So certainly the city could roll the dice and add those, but if we got challenged on it and lost, I mean, that's a risk we would have to take, but, or could take, but there's nothing, to my knowledge, in the statutes that says you can even, do that.
The one thing that may answer the question a little bit is if you have a large-scale residential development that wants to use a package plant, they're probably going to have to come in for a conditional district rezoning.
Right.
And so that's, I think what Steve said, the smaller pump stations and things like that are going to be fairly innocuous, but something larger is probably going to require review and maybe a little bit of negotiation. If it's a building that looks like a smaller version of a Rocky River wastewater treatment plant, which I don't think it would be, but that makes sense. Good question.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. Okay, item 4.
No.
Two, I'm sorry, item 2. Yeah, I moved forward too fast. Conduct a public hearing offering contract 3, I'm sorry. I'm getting there. I mean, when I move between the public hearing and the ones in the same one, I get
Skip one now.
2. Consider renaming private street.
Steve, if you would.
Yes, sir. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason, have one slide for you. If you'll look at the one on the right on your screen, this one is just a larger view, just showing you where Stowe Lane originates, where it starts on Moorhead Road in Mecklenburg County and goes into the Hendrick property. So that's the property, that's the street in question that will be renamed. If you look at the slide at the picture on your left, it just shows Hendrick's campus in its entirety with the street names. So of course you have Papa Joe Hendrick Boulevard, that's the main one coming in, and then Defender Way, which is where the incentive that you just heard from Samantha, another building that's part of the Advanced Manufacturing Campus, that comes in off Bruton Smith, and then Stowe Lane, if you approve, would be renamed to Team Hendrick Way. And it's a private road. You've abandoned it. Mecklenburg County has approved abandoning it, and Philip has removed it from the POW bill list. So I'll be glad to answer any questions. I figured an overall view of the campus and the road coming in would be helpful.
You have to get Mecklenburg for their side of it.
They did, yes. Yep, they did.
Okay, that was my question too. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3, consider entering an agreement with the City of Kannapolis to construct structural signage and landscaping.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Call on Philip to present this item to council this evening. This is a long-awaited project that he is eager to get underway.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. Yes, a long-awaited step in this project for the monuments, as we refer to, along I-85, specifically at the exits of 5860 in Concord and also in 63 in Kannapolis. So the attached agreement in the agenda outlines that we will split the responsibilities and cost at exits 58 and 60, Concord being one side, Kannapolis the other side. Each monument will be owned by that entity with the name on it. So if you're traveling US 29, Concord sign, that'll be ours when this project's complete. And likewise on the other side, same with Del Earnhardt Copperfield Boulevard. So it outlines the 50% split in cost there because we'll have 50-50 there, 100% responsibility for Lane Street on exit 63, Any additional cost will have to be agreed upon by both cities, or if it's just our sole monument, that city obviously would be the only one that needs to agree to that. The cost, as estimated currently by the designer, is $364,000 for Concord and $787 and change for Kannapolis, because they have that additional sole interchange there. So I'll be happy to answer any questions on that. Yeah.
Right, any questions? Andy?
Long overdue. I actually like what you proposed, the drawings. Was there any conversation with the Public Art Committee about this?
There has-
Not that I'm necessarily suggesting that at this late time, but these are going to be the most visible things we have.
These conversations have been going on for
Years, like a decade.
very long time, yes.
Legit, a decade. No, it's a done deal. I didn't think John and I would actually see this one through. Price is different.
I
but-
withdraw my
Yeah.
question.
So we have been talking about this the whole time I've been here, 7+ years. And I've said the same thing every time. I'm gonna say it again. Our main intersection, the entrance to Concord, is Bruton Smith, Concord Mills. Why don't we have a monument there where people enter our city? In fact, the next deck probably has more traffic coming into Concord than this one does. So why this one, only this one?
This project came, I guess the idea of this project came during that section of the I-85 widening from US 29 moving north. So that's when the idea came up of this. We've all wanted to see the completion of this one first, successful completion of this one first. I think once we had that roadmap, we could then proceed south if desired by council in the future. Yeah.
Okay. I would love to see that pursued. It just seems like an odd place to have the entrance monument in the middle. I withdraw my question.
Well, that was very clear. Thank you
More
very much.
theoretical.
And that's all the questions on that one.
Great, thank you.
That's right, you withdrew your question, yeah, got it. All right, number 4, consider awarding 2 bids to Wesco and Siemens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Jaren from our electric department is going to present items 4 and 5, both associated with the electric department.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. On December 12, 2024, the city held a public bid opening for the 100 kV delivery upgrade behind the Speedway. The project includes a new main breaker, feeder breakers, and station equipment switches. Wesco submitted the lowest bid for Schedule 1 at $111,102, while Siemens Energy secured Schedule 2 at $765,860. The total funding requested for the upgrade is $876,962. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Okay, no questions.
All right. Also, on December 12th, 2024, the city held a public bid opening for replacing the existing station power transformer at Sub-H located on Highway 601 near Old Charlotte Road. The current transformer no longer has a full range of voltage regulating abilities and needs to be replaced. Virginia Transformer was the lowest responsive bidder in the amount of $1,430,800. I will be happy to answer any questions.
Question for council? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 6, consider accepting a preliminary application from James Weston Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So items 6, 7, and 8, to round out your regular agenda, will be covered by Jackie. They are similar, are related in nature. So Jackie, if you would.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. This afternoon, I'd like to present James Weston Carey has submitted a preliminary application to receive water service at 7 Mary Circle in Concord. It's a .62 acre parcel zoned LDR with an Area B. It's currently undeveloped. The applicant is planning on constructing a single-family home. Sewer is not available. Are there any questions? Okay. Item number 7, James Weston Carey also, this is adjacent to the Mary Circle parcel. The address is 5321 Zion Church Road. They also are looking to serve with water. It's a 0.5 acre parcel. It's also undeveloped and sewer is also not available. And I'd be happy to take some questions.
I just have one question dealing with the two. Are these for the applicant or for other uses?
He's looking to develop and sell
Okay.
the homes.
It appears they're gonna combine these two sites for one house. Because I think LDL is half a dwelling unit per acre, or if I got it right. So you gotta have both, so there's just one house for the two.
It's already existing subdivided in the,
Okay, so it's two houses?
Two houses per acre.
So what is he going to do for sewer?
I
Septic
did not-
tank?
I did not ask that question.
Any other questions? Okay. Yep.
Okay. Item number 8, an application from Robert Campo and Stacy Comer. They are joint tenants and have submitted an application for sewer service outside of the city limits. The property is 5170 Almond Drive. It's an 11-acre parcel outside the city limits zoned LDR within Area B, and the owners wish to build one single-family home. Water is not available to the parcel.
Questions?
Same question.
Okay.
Okay, joint tenants, 2 different people. It's 11 acres.
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, just talk me through this, okay? You knew it was coming. We didn't even talk about it before. I didn't even send you a text message, but you knew it was coming. So let's talk through this. I understand if service is not available, we have to extend, I understand all the statutory stuff. So I understand all the Valerie stuff, but let's talk through, JC and I as joint tenants own 11 acres. What are we, from a sewer perspective, we are going to submit it, it's going to fall under the 600, it's automatically approved. So then, JC and I build another house on there because it's low-density residential, it's 11 acres, so we could build a whole bunch of houses on there, and then I submit that one house again, it's under 600, and I get approval for that. Then JC and I decide to buy it. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like 11 acres is a lot of land, but help me make sure I'm not missing anything.
So I think maybe the best answer I can give you, and it's not foolproof, nothing we do really is, but the letter, if you approve this, Jackie will send them a letter, and the first sentence of the letter says you are authorized to apply for 1 4-inch residential sewer connection. Right, so that is all you've approved them to do. Now, does that mean some things maybe get built down the road and connected? We've encountered that before. It's not foolproof, but it is very clear in the letter they receive what they are authorized to do. If anything that requires, site plan or annexation ever comes through to be built and it's over 600, you're gonna get it again, through the larger allocation process. These are not uncommon in this area of the county where they're just really large homestead type lots. So I don't think there's necessarily any reason to read into some ulterior motive, but I understand the desire to try to prevent that bypass. But it is very clear, the letter that Jackie sends them, it's very clear what they're allowed and what they're permitted to do. It's not you have a connection and you can just do whatever you want from then on. It's clearly, I think, would be an enforceable document that you approved 1 connection and 1 only.
And I don't want to assume the worst about anyone.
No, I agree.
I also understand that we have a lot of developers that sit in here every sewer allocation meeting and have to go through a process of, if I've got 11 acres and I want to build 6 houses, right? So from a fairness perspective, it just, I know it's hard to close that loop completely, so thank you for that explanation.
All right, Any other questions? All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda?
Yeah, Mayor, and I don't have my agenda where it's supposed to be to tell you the number. The systems for the dais for council chambers. Is that D? Yeah, D. If we could take that one off and just get a short informational presentation Thursday night.
D, consider authorizing city manager to negotiate and execute a replacement. Okay?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to move that off the consent agenda? Item D.
D.
Got a motion second? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. So that'll be item number 9, I believe is what it would be, correct? Yes, that'll be item number 9. D is now number 9. Sure. Any others? All right, before we go into closed session, I want to ask anybody have any questions dealing with the NC League Municipality Biennium legislative goals. Most have turned it in, but we need to have them in by Friday. Nobody has any questions?
Are you sharing the list with us, our final answers?
No, well, yes, I will, but
Okay,
I don't have
very good.
everybody's in
That's-
here. Yeah.
Good.
Yes. What I'll do, I'll summarize the totals, and here's the ones, here's the top 10 that we, or top, however many we got to do, 10 that we picked, and I'll send it back with the scoring from each per person. All right. Lord, you have anything else before we go into closed session? Thursday night, we'll talk about retreat. Also, for our second work session, any items you might have, please send them my way. And also, we will, at our Thursday meeting, we will talk about our retreat items. Okay? So,
Those items for second will be Friday. I said that correctly.
yes, you did.
This Friday.
Yes,
I
yeah.
may have one.
Okay, good. All right, therefore, I'm going to motion to go into closed session pursuant to General Statute NC General Statute 143, 318, 11A, and 4 in order to discuss location or expansion of industries or other businesses in areas served by this public body. Is there a motion? A motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much.